Network.
Not just for the people.
We are the people.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Round After Round. I'm your host, Yaya, and this is my coach, COLIN HOFFMAN. Today, Aiden won't be able to join us because he's very sick, and also C10 will be running just a few minutes late.
So my name is Colin Hoffman. I'm a local Colorado fighter. I've been training Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, as well as mixed martial arts for 10 years now. I've competed in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for over 100 matches. I have 22 Muay Thai fights. One of them, one pro match, technically pro, out in Thailand. I have trained MMA, have not fought MMA yet. I may at some point, may not. I also have multiple coaching certifications as well as refereeing and officiating for Muay Thai specifically. And I currently train at Denver Muay Thai and Fitness with Mr. Yaya.
Hello. I was gonna ask Colin if you ever wanted to do MMA. What organization would you want to go into? Like cage fighter, LFA, or I know you'd want to start small, but what organization would you?
Yeah, so in Colorado, the main promotions we have for MMA right now, I believe, are
5280?
Sparta. 5280 doesn't do more MMA. 52 does specifically amateur Muay Thai. Colorado Combat Club does pro Muay Thai, pro MMA, amateur Muay Thai, and amateur MMA. Nearly everything except boxing. So Colorado Combat Club is a really good one, run by Eric Mitchell and Aaron Varro, who both have gyms here in Colorado as well. And I've fought for them on 5280 as well as Colorado Combat Club.
That's cool.
In the purely professional organizations, the model that one has, I think, is really awesome for being able to build great matches between more grappling intensive athletes versus more Muay Thai intensive athletes, or the people that like to blend them, and adding part of the reason that one championship always has bad financials is most of the money is going back to the fighters. And any directions that all of the combat sports are growing, if they're getting more mainstream, if it's getting watered down, well, that means there's more eyes on it, more spectators, and it's more money to people doing fighting. Let's get the athletes paid.
That's cool. Would you ever want to do a boxing match?
Boxing, probably not. I don't have the acumen for boxing specifically as a sport. In sparring for MMA rounds or Muay Thai, I've done boxing only rounds. I prefer using kicks and knees in my particular style, or even in MMA. I'll mix in grappling with it. I like employing strategies, and I can use ring craft for boxing. I don't currently have a draw towards competing in boxing. It's a different gear. It is a different sport.
Yeah. I had another interesting question. I was gonna say like how PFL and Bellator did the PFL versus Bellator.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if one championship, the MMA part, did that with the UFC. In your opinion, who do you think will win and why?
I don't know if we would be
did.
able to say. I don't usually like picking on fights. I like being like which matchups would go well, and we see that occasionally when the athletes, which are considered independent contractors, even though they're under an exclusive contract, we see that when we get guys currently like Rainer de Ritter coming to the UFC,
that guy's good.
and we have athletes that kind of transpose between the different organizations to see that, particularly in the smaller weight classes, because one has a lot of
Muay Thai mostly.
more Muay Thai and more Asian-based fighters who tend to be physically smaller. So anything 155 and down, they're going to be probably a lot better in one, versus in the UFC where we have more athletes from Europe and America. Right now we don't have any American UFC champions.
UFC champions no more. Yeah.
But they tend to be larger. That's why they go all the
Larger,
way up to the 265s. I do think the directionality of having the sport grow where we can do cross-promotional events like that would be healthy for the sport, because again, in boxing, you can have the WBO champ fight the WBA champ, fight the IBO champ, fight
just like
all
we had,
and you run around and collect all of the different belts, and you can hold them at the same time. You can collect multiple different sponsorships, multiple different accolades, multiple
and you can
different
even
awards.
move up, right?
Yeah.
And wait and still keep the belts, right?
If you can make that weight again, yeah. Another thing that boxing has in similar with Muay Thai, as well as most other normal sports around the world that have combat sports, have smaller weight classes. So in boxing, you have, it's either like 140 or 142, then it goes to 147, and then 154, and then 160. They go by about 5 to 8 pounds.
apart.
And what's awesome about that is you can fight people around you. Versus UFC, 10 pounds, and particularly the way
There's a
MMA
big
fighters
difference.
cut weight, that's a massive difference.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot harder and a lot more rare currently in MMA for people to change weight classes and perform well in both of them. It does happen. It's very rare, and it's more special when that does. But I would love to see more in-between weight classes, so people can be like, you know what, I just need a paycheck before Christmas. Let's take a fight close to my walking weight with someone that's just a ranked opponent there. It'll be a good fight.
weights.
Exactly. Why not stay active, add to your skills, add to your resume?
Like, what's his name? Kevin Holland?
Yes, Kevin Holland fights 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Win, lose, don't care.
It doesn't
I'm a
matter.
fan.
Yeah, I like
And that's what we
Kevin
want. The
Holland.
more we see them, the more fans we get, the more paychecks they get, the more sponsorships
and he's
they
good
get.
too. He's really good.
Yes, absolutely. He performs at a high level
Yeah.
whenever
And
he's
he's been
performing.
moving up and down in weight classes. That's why I think he's been like winning in some weight classes and losing.
Yes.
Because when he moved down again, he started winning.
Yeah. And some people perform better at something closer to their natural weight classes. Some people have inherent advantages when they do cut down. I've heard it both ways. In jiu-jitsu, a teammate of mine for a long time, he would walk around low 140s, and he cut to 135 a few times. He said he hated it, even though it was easy for him to make, because they were so much faster than him. As a small 145er, he was used to being the fastest guy in the division, and he liked that.
Oh,
So he would weigh in at like 142, even though he was making 145, and the guys would be bigger than him, but he was using other attributes just than
like
size
he's
to win.
speed.
Yeah, and in boxing we see that too, because boxers tend to cut a lot less weight than people
Like,
doing
what's his
grappling.
name? Yeah, like Chance Crawford. He was using a lot of ring cutting and a lot of his speed to beat Canelo's like power shots.
Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed in the fight he was doing was he was like catching Canelo's punches. He would stop it and then he would fire his shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the size thing, especially with Canelo in the last few years of his career, we've been seeing him just run around having fun at these smaller weight classes. Sure, they might be bigger
That's
than him.
why he built a lot of fan bases too. Because I felt like from 2017 to like now, or even when he fought Mayweather, his fan base just grew bigger and bigger. And even now, I still think it's one of the biggest fan bases.
Yes, absolutely. And stuff like that gets more people. It's similar to, you don't have to be a boxer. You don't have to be a fight sports fan to know the names Muhammad Ali, to know the names Mike Tyson, to know the name Canelo.
Okay.
Now,
We have a question. Aiden asked, when it comes to judging fights, what are the judges looking at? What scores more and what judging Muay Thai?
yeah.
We were just talking about that before the show. That's a good question, Aiden. Thanks for asking.
So specifically for judging in fights, and again, I hold accreditations for Muay Thai fights specifically. That's going to be different than MMA, going to be different than boxing. And depending on the promotion, whether it's IKF or ISKA or WKA or WBC or Rajadamnern in Thailand or Lumpini, they're going to have their own slightly specific wording and what they're looking for. So In Muay Thai under IFMA, which is the International Federation International Muay Thai Authority, those are the ones that set the rules for our Olympic teams, because we're currently on probationary status for the Olympics.
Oh yeah,
and that's also
true.
the World Championships, as
Yep.
well as the national teams for every country that is holding their national
I'm not
championships
gonna lie.
once
I like
every
to
year.
go to the Olympics for Muay Thai.
Yeah, we're on there currently. When's the next?
The next Olympics?
I think it's
Isn't
in
it gonna be
2026,
in
and then Muay Thai will
California?
be up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
set to. So for judging, it does, I think, fall more to coaches than athletes. Athletes should read the rules so it doesn't surprise them. Some promotions have phrased it that Muay Thai tools, so things other than punching, score higher. Knees, kicks, and elbows will score more than somebody volume punching. If that's the case, cool, then you know. One of the biggest things that I was trained under the IFMA model, which also follows the WBC Muay Thai rules, is effective striking. We hear that a lot in MMA, even in boxing scoring criteria. The way I was trained to watch effective striking is the effect it has. If somebody jabs at me and I don't do anything, it did not have an effect. If somebody jabs at me and I back away, it didn't
Like we're
land, but it
talking
had an
about
effect.
yesterday in class.
Exactly. And this is why sometimes if you land a bunch of leg kicks on somebody, they're Muay Thai fighters. They're walking on tree trunks. A leg kick will not win until it has an effect. Sometimes it takes multiple rounds to build that up. But if something hits, even if it hits them flush and they do not have an effect with it, it's not going to score. Now, in Muay Thai, there's very often a lot of exchanges because people don't control the ring, get in and get back out. They stand there and trade and see who can do it better, which also stylistically makes Muay Thai easier to hit at. But within exchanges, what we're looking to score is if I fire 1, 2, 3 low kick, and you fire 1, 2, 3 low kick, it's a wash.
It's like a
No,
draw.
no one won. Unless one of us got cracked, unless one of us is limping away from that,
we go for a
and there was an
double kick.
effect. Exactly. So as judges, a lot of times we'll take it, oh, in that exchange, that person landed one more kick. That person's up by one exchange.
Yeah.
Next exchange, hey, the other person got up there. Now it's even again.
Okay.
Next exchange, someone might win that. But anytime it's kind of even, it's a wash. If somebody starts winning every single exchange, they're pulling more and more and more ahead. It's very hard to catch up and make that difference. So as far as judging, looking at who can have more effect and considering the exchanges where a lot of times it's not the cleanest thing, and it's usually just by that person won it by 1. That person won it by 1. It's not usually a huge mismatch where someone is winning by an avalanche.
Okay. And I was gonna say, when you're judging or like when you're in there watching the fighters, like what do you think besides the teep? We know the teep is like a very good. Like what other tool would you use, or would you encourage your fighters or other fighters to use more in fights?
We're using more.
Yeah.
Like you said, the teep is probably the longest range tool you can have. My favorite analogy I heard about the teep is that's your property fence. If you're standing at the edge of my property line, you can't get to me. The second you cross over that, I zap you with an electrified fence to keep you away. You can also threaten it, so it's like a warning sign, don't come on my property. You're not trying to hurt them with the teep, you're trying to keep them on the other side of
you.
Exactly. That can be used to buy time. It can be used to set up other strikes, just like a jab in boxing. It can also be used defensively. If I just scored one, hey, I'm up 1 against them. And then you teep them to get them away. Now they can't tag you back.
So it's like you're up 2 now.
Exactly. And you, again, protect that score. I scored 1 exchange, and now I want to protect it and keep that so you can't tag me back. Other than the teep, that that's a stylistic question. Some people like to win with slick punches. Some people like to win with power punches. Some people like to use body kicks. Some people like to use clinch knees. Some people like to use at range elbows where they're jumping in. Some people like to use clinch elbows. One thing I personally stylistically love seeing in fighting is anything that's not a strike. Hand fighting, grabbing, tripping, just pushing someone off balance. The little things like that, that's not necessarily a kick, not necessarily a punch.
Those could help you set up your bigger strikes.
Yeah, you can off balance, because if, again, going back to effect, it's one of the scoring criteria that we have when we're looking at athletes is their offense, their defense, their position, where they're at in the ring. If they're covering up back in the corner, they're probably not winning that fight. And balance is very important as well. In Thailand, a lot of trainers will say, balan, balan, Muay Thai, all about balan, balance, said with the Thai accent. If you can effect somebody's balance by keeping them off balance, by making them miss and they go spinning, by tripping them, that having an effect on somebody's balance is huge. So anything to mess with someone's balance is a great tool in Muay Thai to score and to mess with somebody.
Okay, that's nice. I was going to ask, last weekend there was a great fight in the UFC. Of course, it was like a lot of good fights, but I specifically was watching the main event against Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva.
Yeah.
And I like both fighters, but like when you were watching the fight, how did you feel? Was like from the first round to the second round, or did you even think it was gonna go that long?
That was a fight I watched as well. I enjoy both athletes because I feel like they both can mix striking and grappling, as well as blending them together, messing with their rhythms, going faster, going slower, and I enjoyed that about both of them. The turning that I saw was actually after Gene Silva landed, I believe it was a right hand that rocked and dropped Lopez, but you saw his confidence get a lot higher.
And then that's when he started to get confident.
Yeah, and it gets to a thing within gyms. A lot of the times we hear basics win fights, fancy stuff wins fans. And Gene Silva started trying to throw the spinning elbows, do the big punches, big head kicks, and none of them landed.
Yeah,
because he was looking to show off.
He got caught with one of his own favorite strikes, which was the spinning elbow.
And Diego Lopez hunkered down in his shell, defended the basics, fired the basics, and then, ironically, accidentally caught him with something fancy. If you're losing on the basics, you probably won't win something fancy. Stuff. If you can win on the basics, yeah, you might have a shot.
If like even though I know it's good, like when the fighters, I know they make adjustments on their own as well. What would you say is something the coaches should have made going into that second round when Gene Silva lost that first round due to him being taken down?
Adjustments between rounds is really hard. One of my favorite combat sports quotes that has stuck with me was from John Danaher. He's the head coach for New Wave Jiu-Jitsu right now. He got a lot of fame for the Danaher Death Squad that rose to notoriety in the later 2010s. But he said once, there's only two kinds of speed that matter. The speed of changing direction. If I'm going left and I can go very fast the other direction to the right, if I'm coming forward and can go back. Change of direction and the change of a decision. If I'm deciding to go really aggressive and then I can decide, no, I'm going to hang back, that decision making is very hard to do on the fly. And that's one of the things Gene Silva, in that particular instance, had decided to go for very high caliber, high impact, very big flashy moves. He was being confident is good. Being overconfident in combat sports can be very bad. But being able to dial that down, hey, he's a little overconfident. Dial it back down. Stay calm with it. And that decision to change your demeanor in a fight is very difficult as well, particularly when somebody gets frustrated or somebody gets very excited to go for a finish like that, and it might not end up going so well for you.
Like, I had another interesting question. If you were Gene Silva's coach, what would you have told him in those moments?
Yeah, when you only have that 60 seconds, a lot of time it's closer to about 40 seconds, 10 seconds to slow the breathing down, get somebody focused and listening to you. The last 10 seconds, you're grabbing everything and getting out of there. You only have 40 seconds to go over a game plan and hope that they can grab it. Calming back down. Calming down. Hey, you know you're going to win it. Don't worry about that. Whether we win it by decision, whether we win it smart, playing on the outside with jabs and drop them a couple times, whether we win it defending the takedowns because they're going to get sloppier as people get tired over the rounds, but dialing down back into an area of being more calm. We want to be Goldilocks where we're not too excited and we're not too calm, but if we're overcompensating into one, we have to overcompensate the other way to get in that Goldilocks zone. And that is individual to every fighter, every individual fight, depends on the coaches too. Okay,
I have another UFC question, and then, but before that, Aiden had a question.
Yes, sir.
He said, I know you've trained in Thailand and fought, so what is the difference of training there and here in the States?
Training?
Yes.
Yeah. Training in Thailand is more of a value affectation. Those are social science words for it's something you do just because it feels good to do. Training in Thailand is both more intense and more casual than it is in the States. Training sessions are usually 90 minutes, which start with running for about 20 minutes or so. You run or jump rope for 20 minutes. We do a couple rounds of shadow boxing, and that is a great opportunity to be able for the trainers to look at everybody and see how someone's balance is, see how someone's strikes are, see where they, what kind of style they like to do. And in Thailand, we'll usually do 5 rounds of hitting pads, a couple rounds of technique, and then sparring every day.
I also heard 30 minutes of jump roping from Coach Ariel.
Yeah, it can be 20 to 30 minutes. If you're an active fighter, you're probably expected to run for 5K, 10K before class on your own anyway.
Okay.
But in Thailand, for anyone that's trained in the U.S., usually one coach or coach and an assistant coach will line up at the front of the class and all of the students lining up in front of them, very similar to how we have school rooms here. There's usually one teacher and a whole lot more students. In Thailand, you have one coach running the class, usually the person with the biggest voice that has the best English, and then they have 20 other fighters on their side. The fighters get their training in during the day, and then to earn some extra money to play with tourists. Yeah, and they're the ones holding pads for the athletes doing the training. So all they're only doing is holding the pads. They're going to hold you for your 5, sometimes 10 rounds.
And they're also getting the experience of getting to learn and train with different people.
Exactly. Thailand is very much a tourist destination. They pride themselves on being very hospitable, very friendly, very courteous to everybody. They want you to have fun there.
And Aiden also said, how about the fighting? Because you did mention you fought there before. What's the fighting style there? Would you say is it more intense there than it is here?
So similar with that, like I mentioned, training. The first time I was sparring in a class in Thailand, I went over to my bag and I grabbed my mouth guard, and the coaches were making fun of me. They said, "No mouth guard. Why you grab mouth guard? You planning on actually fighting someone? No, you should be hitting light." And so they spar with no mouth guards, and it helps remind you to like not take out your training partners, not throw stuff uncontrolled. It's kind of similar to if you are playing basketball at a local park.
Yeah.
These are people you want to be friendly with. You want to keep it competitive. You want to talk a little smack, but you want to make friends at the end of it. Exactly. Okay. So fighting in Thailand, similar thing. It's both more intense and it's more casual. A lot of people that know how to fight Muay Thai, it's like people that know how to play basketball in the U.S. You can do a pickup game at with like some local teams. Yeah, you can even do like a small local tournament here. It's not that big a deal. A lot of people can do it. A lot of people don't do it. A lot of people do it every here and there. So fighting in Thailand is 5 rounds, 3 minutes each. The warm-up is using Thai oil, which is a menthol oil, makes all your muscles very on fire very quickly. They massage your whole body with that so your muscles are light. And they're like, okay, you're good. You don't hit pads. You don't jump rope. You don't do burpees, stuff like that, because once you get into the ring, they do the pre-fight walking around the ring so you can feel how sticky the canvas is.
The ring ceremony.
Yeah, and then while they have a thing called a Ram Moi Wai Crew. You give thanks to your school and your coach that's there with you, and it's also a stylistic dance in the ring to show your style. And that kind of stretches you out. It gets your heart rate up a little bit, and then because they're 5 rounds, usually rounds 1 and 2 are feeling each other out. Those are like our warm-up rounds in sparring. A lot of teeps, lots of jabs, lots of angles, seeing, okay, what does this person want to do? What's their style? How hard do they hit? Rounds 3 and 4, you go for it.
Okay.
By the time you enter round 5, either we both know who's winning that fight, and I want to do it again to earn another paycheck in 2 weeks. I don't want the brain damage, so you kind of chill it out in round 5. Or it's a coin flip, and we both think we were winning, and we're going to go for it again and get very exhausted in round 5. In Thailand, they don't have amateur. So there's not an amateur circuit, even for the little kids. When I was there, I would watch a lot of kid fights. Gloves. That's it. No shin guards, no headgear. Smaller kids don't hit as hard.
Yeah.
But it's still bonking into each other with your bones.
Yeah, because it's their same weight, too.
Yeah. But in the adult things, the closest you could get, Tiger Muay Thai is a very famous gym. They have a monthly barbecue where they allow foreigners to fight basically smokers. 2-minute rounds. A lot of them get very out of breath and very tired 30 seconds in, just like smokers in the U.S. But they have headgear, they have 16-ounce gloves, and they have shin guards. That's the closest I've seen in Thailand to amateur fights. Everything there is no shin guards, no headgear, 8-ounce gloves, and 5 rounds.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd like to go there one day. Okay, so back to I was gonna ask for like, what's next? Would you say for Diego Lopez and Juan Silva? Like for both of them, do you think Diego Lopez should fight for the belt again, or do you think he should wait and like let someone else like Lauren Murphy fight? And then there's also Aljamain Sterling, who's been calling out folks for a while for the flyweight
who had just
belt.
been, yes,
and he just came from a great win.
Yeah, so these are athletes at 145, so we're talking about the 145 UFC men's featherweight division. It may be a personal preference. I am not fond of people fighting for a belt back to back to back to back, even if they have, I'm back in the win column. It's 1 in the win column. It's not a column. That's one little...
Yeah, even if it's
a column is stacked 7, 8, 9 wins, building up to building your resume towards a title fight. If you're knocking on the door of a place and being like, I want to be the champion, that's like a job interview. It's like, cool, what's on your resume? I have 1 win. That's not a whole lot to go. You were just back here and we turned you away. Another example was Holly Holm, who had fought for many women's bantamweight and featherweight titles because the divisions were very shallow. Versus, I think the career development on a model like boxing is so much more developed, where you have people lose a title and they'll fight 2-3 times before trying to get back into the title picture. You want to shake off that rust. You want to fix whatever that hole was that caused you to lose a contendership fight, and then put it to practice. Not just, yeah, I definitely got it in the gym with my buddies, with my coach that knows me during drilling. You want to make sure to put that to practice and see, cool, I've got this new tool now. I want to prove to the world I can make it work. Now I have a resume much more developed to come back, rather than people waiting for a title shot or arguing about it and slowing down ultimately their own career development, as well as fights for the fans to consume.
Would you ever just like how they have the BMF for the lightweight, do you think they should do that for every other weight? For like guys that aren't like the champion, but have like level like Juan Silva and Diego Lopez.
Yeah.
Like, do you think there should be BMF titles for those weight classes as well? Or
Probably not at this point. The first BMF title was contested at 170 between Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz. Yeah. The others were between Justin Gaethje and Max. And then the other one between
Poirier and Max.
So Max has fought for a couple. Yeah. And he was the only one to defend it. I don't know. I really like it as an accolade. I don't know if I like it as an actual belt, because if people try, that's a really big target on your back.
Yeah.
When people want to be like, well, you should give me the belt. This fight wasn't for that belt.
And then it does say BMF belt. So I feel like if you're a fighter that's like on the come up, I feel like before you fight like for the championship, I think it'll be the cooler. Be like, hey, I want to fight for the BMF before I fight for like the championship fight.
Or if there's one a year.
Yeah,
something like that, because that can be between legends, people that may not be title holders right now, but like Kevin Holland. At some point, just Kevin Holland versus Donald Cerrone. They both had voracious work rates. Yeah. Win or lose, they were loved. They had fans. Obviously, they're different. Donald Cerrone is now retired. Kevin Holland is currently in the thick of his career. But something like that, where you have fans of people to do that.
Or like fighters that just recently retired that still want to do it.
Potentially, in combat sports, there are young professional retirement ages, because nobody wants to do this forever. Yeah. Again, the career development in boxing, they have a lot more financial advisors on somebody's team to advise them in investing in property or businesses or clothing lines or sponsorships and fallbacks to have, because no matter how many hours you're in the gym, you're spending more hours outside of that with friends, family, enjoying the sun, breweries, whatever your passions are. And I would prefer fighting to be something about an individual rather than them having to do that for a paycheck, because once they retire, well, now, like Tony Ferguson is a recently not retired but transitioned to boxing MMA fighter. I would rather see him financially solvent and be able to take care of himself, to take care of his family, to take care of himself, to enjoy life. Running a gym, training people, doing seminars. If you know fighting, that's awesome. I don't want anyone having to fight for a living. This is not ancient Rome. It's not a vocation anymore. Yeah. You don't need to fight to provide for family. Most societies have evolved beyond that. I would rather have the athletes have more options rather than pulling people out of retirement with the promises of money.
Aiden asked, who is your favorite UFC fighter?
Do we know currently, or? So UFC fighters, particularly for MMA, as a spectator, there's a lot of different criteria you can have. If you like someone's legacy, if you like someone's style, if you like someone's attitude. For me right now, one of my favorites is Merab Dvalishvili.
Oh, Morocco.
He has
He could go
such
all
an
day.
insane, he's a grappler, but he has the most Muay Thai attitude of probably any MMA fighter I've seen. He dances when he knows he's ahead. He makes jokes and someone misses a headshot and he's like, "Oh, where were you aiming? Where were you aiming?"
That's like,
He
what's
is
his
laughing and giggling with everything, and he goes for runs all the time. He works on his cardio, so he makes sure he'll never get tired.
That dude's never tired.
All time, it might have been Khabib as well. I think Khabib as well in his
Prime.
now, in his post-fight career, the way he coaches and the way he tries to offer
Like
his
help.
experiences to people. A lot of people ask, "Oh, are you going to raise your kids to fight?" He's like, "Fuck no, I hope my kids never have to fight to provide for their family. I made a ton of money with it. I don't want my kids to ever have to fight. If they want to train, cool, but go do something else."
Yeah. And then I was gonna ask. I know we've all seen the boxing fights last week.
Yep.
I was gonna say before the Canelo fight, there was the Christian Mbili versus Lester Martinez. Did you see that fight?
I did not. That
Because
fight.
they said it was a split draw.
Yeah.
And then even I thought I don't know. To me, Lester Martinez, like, he threw more, and I think he landed more by like over 139 strikes. Like, what would you say? How was that scored?
So I didn't see that fight. The judging of it, once we get into draws, is where the judges' decisions get really weird, because a lot of us are used to hearing a unanimous decision, which means 3 judges see it for
Had it,
red
one
or
guy,
blue.
Yeah.
Split decision means a minority thinks it was for blue, 2 judges thinks it was for red, and they're voting. Once we start introducing draws, it gets really weird. So a split draw means one judge saw it even,
Even like a tie.
and then the other judge saw it for red, the other judge saw it for
For
blue.
blue.
Yeah, we have split draws, we have majority draws, and we have majority decisions, which all get really weird. With
Like
those,
majority means like all judges favored one side, right? Like the majority of
So a majority decision would be 2 judges saw it for red, 1 judge saw it as a draw.
Oh,
Majority decision, not a split decision, not a unanimous decision. Split draw is 1 for red, 1 for blue, and 1 for a draw. A majority draw is 2 judges see it as a draw, and 1 judge saw it for red or blue, but that's not a majority, so you can't declare a winner yet.
what the heck?
Unanimous draw is where all 3 judges would see it as a draw. I don't know if I've ever seen a unanimous draw. In some of the Muay Thai circuits in Thailand, they're starting to incorporate 5 judges.
Oh, for real?
So they have judges sitting at all different sides of the ring, so they have different angles, and they're in their own little booths, so they can't talk to each other and impact each other's decisions or have peer pressure and like, well, I think he was the... Oh, that's a good point.
So it's like
But the more
their
opinions
own-
you get, if you imagine if you have 5 judges, even if 2 of them might see it as a draw,
other
you'll
3
probably get a good decision. That does come with the scoring systems would look totally different as well.
Do you think
It's going to cost a lot more money.
That?
I would like it, especially because boxing goes up into the 8, 10, 12 rounds. There's so much data, there's so much time in the ring to be able to dissect and evaluate as judges. Why not get more eyes on there? If you have smokers or small stakes amateur fights where there's only 1 judge, all it takes is them looking down, checking their Twitter 1 time, not seeing it for an unfair decision, or if they're biased towards one fighter or one gym, or weighing certain strikes more because they like it. The more judges, the more eyes on it, I think that's a better evaluation of a performance.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I think they should do a rematch, and they are going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does boxing have win bonuses, or does that depend on an individual athlete's contract?
I think it depends on I think it depends on their individual contract, and then they also have their purses too. So I'm not sure because they have like the pay-per-views, all of that. So I'm not sure if they have bonus wins like the UFC or PFL does.
Yeah, because
But
currently,
I do know that in like tournament style fights where like elimination rounds,
yeah,
I do know in those they might have like bonus. But I don't know if you have seen overtime boxing. Have you heard of
the
them?
promotion.
Yeah.
I know of the name, not super familiar with them.
Yes, like they have something like that, and they even have let's say if the judges think the round was a draw, they do an overtime.
That is a lot of extra production. That's a lot of extra prep. I like the idea because even if you're pretty sure, or especially if there's open scoring where you know what the scores are going into the next round and you know that you're going to need a finish, that affects both athletes' strategies. If you know you're down, you know you're going to have to huck and try to get a KO. The other guy has an advantage of, I know they're going to be swinging for the fences. Cool, we're going to play defense.
Yeah, defense.
Heavy
and
defense.
like just moving.
Yeah, and then they're both going to have to adjust for that, which might be more entertaining, might not be. Having a tiebreaker round, though, I think that could add a lot of athletic performance for being able to adjust. Okay, we only have one round now. You can't stall out the rounds. You can't give away rounds, which some people do to get reads and information if they're a counter fighter. And you've also got to keep enough gas in the tank in case that is. Or you're just going to both be super exhausted and still have to perform. If we do that professionally, that's a pretty interesting model that I don't think I've seen a lot in professional combat sports. Jiu-Jitsu's done it.
Asked the question. He said, "Does that happen a lot when judges are going for a specific fighter or gym?"
If judges are seeing decisions for a specific style or gym, it shouldn't. Because with that, the judges, ideally in professional promotions and sportive events, the judges are beholden to the state athletic commission. The judges aren't, they'll be certified and they're working for whatever promotion it is for that night, but their licenses, their certifications are to the state. They're not going to be influenced by the promoters. They're not going to be influenced by the other gyms and stuff like that. Especially professional judges, we see Herb Dean, doing one championship fights in Singapore on Thursday night, and then we see him again in Illinois, on Saturday night. And the good judges and referees should have enough of a scope where they don't have that many close ties. Judges as well, a lot of times can be like, hey, I had a bad experience with that gym. I used to train with them. I currently train with them. Hey, I have a fight coming up with that guy right there. I'm going to excuse myself from judging this fight. Because usually, the way I've seen it, for having 3 active judges, in Muay Thai, there's usually a head judge as well at the table that will override the others. But there will be 5 judges total, so they can rotate out for lunch breaks. They can rotate out if somebody needs a bathroom break during one bout. They can rotate out if anybody has a possible conflict of interest. With that, the judges should be outside of everything else. Ideally, once we get into amateur, you're looking for volunteers, you're looking for people that might train, you might be looking at people that coach but don't train, you might be looking at people that are active fighters and they do have relationships or existing biases towards other athletes, towards other gyms.
Oh, dang. Okay. The question everybody been waiting for. I know everybody watched the Terence Crawford and Canelo fight. I was gonna ask, what did you think of that?
I thought it was a great fight to study. I do not box, but I like watching and studying the science of boxing, particularly Terence Crawford and Canelo I've been a fan of. I thought it was really interesting that Crawford, for being a stance switcher, chose to fight the entire fight southpaw. And not only that, he seemed to win it on the offense. He was very active with his jab, which usually in that open stance, a southpaw versus an orthodox person, the lead side is shut down. The jabs don't have the same angle. They don't have the same effect because they're very close. But he was staying active and winning on the counters, because when they have that open stance, just like you and I are now, your right hand is closer to my left hand. Our rear hands, though, are the big rifles at the back, and that's what does the most damage. It also takes a lot more time to travel there. Usually, and boxing coaches, occasionally I've dropped in and done a private with boxing specific coaches to ask their strategies, pad holding techniques, training and stuff like that. Usually what you see is if people are in that open stance, when they're a counter fighter and they're winning the counter fighting, they'll win that open stance. Conor McGregor is a very famous counter fighter from
he's good at that.
southpaw. Alexander Usyk is southpaw, and he uses footwork to provoke them to throw, and then he wins on the counter and he gets the hell out of Dodge. But I found that really impressive, and I want to go back and watch the fight with a more fine-tooth comb to see exactly what Crawford was doing to be able to win.
He was
being offensive.
Active.
Yeah, it was very active, and there's so many of the little things where a week out we're still seeing more of the slow-mo, the tiny little hand traps, the tiny little straight into the loops, the tiny little pushes that he was doing.
It was like whenever Canelo would load up with these big shots, he would just tap, 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 and then he would get out, or he would just cover up. And he would, like, for example, these shots right there. Yeah. Like whenever Canelo would come forward, he was just keeping them busy with the jab.
And Crawford's footwork, he was being able to make Canelo reset constantly by using the ring craft. Even when Canelo's advancing like that, he's having to reset his feet, he's having to reset his guard, having to reset the angles. And I think that made it, when you're constantly having to adjust, if you've got big cannons, which a lot of the narrative around it was that Canelo might have a punching power advantage. But if you constantly have to move your cannon 2 inches to the left, 2 inches to the right, 1 inch up, 1 angle down, it's not going to be as effective, which was very smart. And that's one of the favorite things, I think, in combat sports, when you can see people in the midst of chaos find their zen and stay in control of not only themselves, but another athlete, another opponent.
What do you think, like, Canelo should have done different?
For Canelo's style, I don't know if there's a lot he could have done differently. He might have been able to win playing more defensively, because this is all hindsight 2020, obviously, and we won't know if Canelo would have won if he had sniped more, if he had reacted less. We won't know. Those are all hypotheticals. But if he had chose to hang back every time Crawford would move, if he chose to, instead of reacting and resetting every time, either choosing not to react, which could psych somebody out, or choosing just to close your eyes and throw one anyway, hoping it lands if they move. When you're at that high level where both people are very capable athletes and they're very, very smart with their ring craft, that gets a hard game to play.
I was going to also ask, do you think the fight was, like, one-sided the whole time? Or, because to me, I didn't think it was one-sided. Because even though, like, Crawford and Canelo, I think there were some rounds Canelo won, and then I think to me, Crawford stole the last 3 rounds. And
Yeah.
that's what made him win the fight. Because if you like go back and look at like the score sheet, Canelo did land more body shots.
Yeah.
And then Crawford landed like more headshots, but like the accuracy, the numbering, they weren't that much off from each other.
Yeah.
Like the percentages.
And that's where we have, you know, we don't have computers and calculators judging our fights. It's not about who landed more. It's not about who landed more power shots. It's not about who landed more shots to the head versus to the body. It becomes, rather than quantitative, it becomes qualitative. Even the shots that Canelo landed, when we see them in slow-mo, they didn't, again, go back to, I have a bias for the Muay Thai scoring, it didn't affect Crawford that much.
Yes.
He landed a couple big right hands, and they just bounced off Crawford's head. He didn't snap, he didn't turn, he didn't run away from it, he didn't have to take a second and recompose himself. He didn't get affected, which means, oh, well, that wasn't the more effective striking. Versus, I do think the momentum when you have 12 rounds in boxing to be able to establish the storyline. Crawford was using the storyline on winning, being more active and landing more big shots. That round 1 all the way to round 12, he was more active and landed more big shots.
Would you want to see a rematch if they ever decide to?
As a spectator, I would love that. Within boxing, I don't think that it was close enough to merit necessarily a rematch. I think it would be wildly entertaining. I was very excited about that fight coming up. A lot of people were. I think it would be great for spectators and fans for the sport. I don't think there's a lot of call for it, if that makes sense. When a fight was really close or it was a split decision or someone got cut in a weird way, yeah, if there's a reason for it, that would be great. But for the athletes, I don't think they would need to.
So what do you think should be next for both of them? Because at the end, because I would say Terence Crawford, like Usyk said, 38 is the new young. Do you think he should retire? Or do you think he should move down back to like maybe 160, 154? And they're also like hinting at him saying that if Benavidez could either like even make 168. Because Benavidez is a big guy. And that's a big threat to call out.
David Benavidez?
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure. And he hasn't fought Benavidez.
No, but he
yet.
has fought his brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that fight at 160, because 168, Canelo's not the largest frame of a guy, and he's spent the last 3 or 4 years just running up and down, all the way up to 178, all the way down to 160, where his home started, and he's just been collecting belts and paychecks. I think he could continue with that. I think Crawford might be the last professional milestone that Canelo
I
had
compare Crawford to like James Toney.
on his career trajectory.
Like just the way they fight.
Oh,
Like
stylistic,
they
yeah.
fight similar to me.
Yeah.
Like he fights like James Toney.
Very active, relatively unorthodox for boxing,
Yeah.
at least, with stance switching, with switching the basics up, versus Canelo uses tried and true defenses, tried and true offenses, and he does it very, very, very well.
Both styles were really good to watch. And I was going to say, both the corners was good to see too. Like the cornermen, the coaches, see how they coach and stuff.
And adjusting at that high level, trying to adjust, and seeing, again, the changes in direction or choosing to stay the course of a strategy is really hard when you get to guys that are that smart.
Yeah. Aiden asked the question. He said, what advice do you have for someone new to Muay Thai and wants to compete?
especially for people learning to compete and people starting Muay Thai. One of my biggest things of advice from day 1 to year 10 is working on your ability to make decisions. So physically, whether it's boxing, whether it's Muay Thai, whether it's Jiu-Jitsu, no matter at what moment in a fight, no matter what stance you're at, no matter where you're at in a ring, if you can make a decision and you can make any decision you want, that's better. Okay. If I can decide to slip, if I can decide to step back, if I can decide to jab, if I can decide to teep, if I can decide to fake, if I can decide to overhand, that is better. For a lot of people, day 1, they step forward, all of a sudden the stance is all out of whack. They have to reset it. Okay, wait, where am I? Okay, now I can make more decisions. In the midst of firefights, well, I slipped. Well, now I can't throw my right hand. That's one decision that was taken away from you. If you check, well, now I can't punch. That's a decision that was taken away from you. The more you work on being able to make decisions, and again, that sounds so weird. A big part of it is balance. If you're off balance, you don't have a whole lot of say in where you're going. You don't have a whole lot of say in where you want to change your direction going. But being able to make those decisions defensively, offensively, or in movement is one of the biggest skills in the background of everything to be thinking of, to be shadowboxing with, to be drilling with footwork, to be thinking about in sparring. If you can choose whatever defense you want, if you can choose whatever offense you want, if you want to choose whatever style you want to fight a particular fight, that's one of the best skills that'll translate all the way through a fight career.
And Aiden also asked, what did you think about the Colin Wash versus Fernando Vargas Jr.?
That one I did not see.
Yeah, I seen that one, but I'm not gonna lie. I thought Fernando Vargas Jr. was gonna win, but he just wasn't as active as Colin Wash was. He just wasn't busy. Like, I don't know what it was, but he just seemed to couldn't get going.
There's sometimes, and with fighters, for anyone that does train, there's days, for anyone that lives life, we have days when we feel really on. We have days when we feel off. Sparring, there's some days when you feel like you won every single round. There's days when you felt like you lost every single round. Sometimes when you're doing it as a professional and you're in the ring, some of those days hit. I've had that happen with fights where you get in there and it feels like you're in a bog where you're underwater and just like swimming through the punches, and you're like, well, that was terrible. Win, lose, or draw, I didn't like that.
Yeah. So before we close off, I know this week there isn't like no upcoming UFC matches or anything, but I do know like soon there is gonna be like the rematch against I think it was Muhammad Ankalaev and Alex Pereira.
Yes. Yes.
What do you look to see Alex Pereira use different this time?
So Alex Pereira is one of my favorite fighters. When he won the championship, we also found out a lot of people didn't make a big deal about it. He was the first indigenous Native American to hold a UFC belt. And
he fought a lot of times, too.
Yeah. He had a very long, very illustrious career in kickboxing before making the transition to MMA. He's another guy where his attitude, his aura, and his riz are really good in and out of the ring. He's someone I enjoy when he's on the clock and when he's off the clock. Cool. It's almost a similar thing if he can train to make more decisions on defending or getting out of takedowns rather than, well, I'm going to sprawl. Okay, what happens when a sprawl doesn't work? Oh, well, I'm planning on the sprawl to work. A lot of times in fighting, particularly with jiu-jitsu and grappling, it's not about having the better plan A, it's about having a plan B through Z. So if he can, well, what happens if I'm down inside control? What happens if I'm in half guard? That's something for a lot of fights, especially in MMA, a lot of the positions can be a lot harder to get out of than even pure jiu-jitsu or pure striking arts. Where it can just be overwhelming if you spend 4 minutes and 50 seconds underneath somebody. They're not just pressing on you, they're also punching you in the face. But working the absolute worst case scenario positions and being comfortable there. Comfortable to make decisions. Maybe you recover guard. Maybe you try a submission. Maybe you threaten a submission just so they try to get away from you for a second and you can get up. Maybe you try to wrestle away. Maybe whatever stuff. I think if he works on having that better plan B through Z, it could make for, I think, a more dynamic fight than their first one as well. Alex is another one. I think he's 37.
Yeah.
He's getting up there where his last fight is probably coming in the next 1 or 2 fights.
Yeah, and he's saying he wants it to end at heavyweight with either Sergon or Tom Aspinall. And those two guys are big.
I'll tune in. I don't know if I'll put money on it.
They also have fights coming up against each other too, Sergon and Tom Aspinall. What do you think of that fight?
I like seeing heavyweights that can move.
Both of them can move really good.
Yeah. Usually heavyweights aren't my favorites as a spectator to watch because it's either going to end in the first 60 seconds or it's going to slog for all 3 rounds. But heavyweights that can be athletic, again, we look at boxing, some of the most successful heavyweights were the smallest ones. Deontay Wilder, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, all weighed around 210 when the limit was up at 260, 265, I think, in boxing.
Yeah, like, how about Alexander Usyk? Would you say he's like a small heavyweight or...
Small in frame.
Because he did used to be a cruiserweight.
Yeah, where was Usyk's weight at when he fought at heavyweight?
I think like around 125, 130. I mean, not
kilos?
Like 230, 225, 230.
So not the biggest either.
Yeah.
Usyk is another one. He's a heavyweight. He
Like
can move.
235.
Yeah, he moves. Usyk is one where it's like when I watch Usyk fight, I have a notepad.
Oh, for real?
It's not the most entertaining thing.
How about Tyson Fury? Because for a big guy like that, he can move very good.
Very similar thing. He's just on the other end of the size because he's closer to 300 than most of these other guys.
And he is taller.
Yeah. But boxers that have, again, they call it the sweet science because there's more study with it. There's more evidence on what has worked.
Also, like the first, like art, basically boxing, or was it wrestling?
For combat sports?
Yeah.
I could look into it. There are some of the combat sports that have roots in warfare. So, for example, Muay Thai is a sport version of Muay Baran, which is what people used to defend themselves, and when you would have swords in warfare. All the way back in the Colosseums in ancient Rome, they had pancration, which was wrestling with punching. Once I think it was, I'm not positive on the rules of pancration, I'm not even going to try. But they also had wrestling. They also had Greco-Roman wrestling, which is...
Do you think that's the best style of wrestling? Or, like...
For wrestling?
Yeah.
So, for those unaware, we have folk style, which is mostly how high schools compete. Freestyle wrestling, which has slightly different scoring criteria and focuses a lot on the takedowns. You can grab the legs. All forms of wrestling end with a pin, which is both shoulders touching the mat. Greco-Roman, you're not allowed to touch the legs, so you can't grab the knees. You can't ankle
even
pick.
go for a takedown.
You can get a takedown.
Oh, but isn't that going for the leg? Oh, just the body.
Exactly. So Greco-Roman, when you watch Greco-Roman highlights, it's 2 refrigerators of a men throwing each other through the air over their heads, slamming on their necks. Because it's like from, if you have double unders, double under, good luck. Greco-Roman, you're going for a ride.
Yeah.
arm drags, if they can get behind people for suplexes, anything where you can lock around the body or arm throws. Greco-Roman is very exciting to watch.
I had a very interesting question because a lot of people been asking me, so I want to ask you.
Sir.
Someone that's like for example, like you, but you're not like purple belt, like 150, 145, versus a wrestler that just, but like the wrestler's like 250 and he just began wrestling. Like, who would win if they ever did like a grappling match?
Yeah. So, as somebody that specializes and competes in primarily Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, wrestling, capital W, formal wrestling, collegiate or high school level wrestling, not just wrestling around with your brothers or what Jiu-Jitsu people usually call wrestling, I think it's the sport where you can train it the least amount of time to have the most advantage over most people. Okay. If you have done a semester, just one season of wrestling, it does not leave you. I've trained with people that told me, oh yeah, I did 1 year of wrestling in 5th grade. It never leaves you. The balance in your hips is always there. Your ability to be agile, your ability to grind, it doesn't go away. I did 2 years of wrestling junior and senior year of high school. I wasn't that great at it. But even in jiu-jitsu, I've had people that have never met me when I'm playing guard and I touch them and they're like, oh, you wrestled, huh? Wrestling is one of the greatest combat sports advantages you can have, I think, for the lowest amount of investment. One of my coaches had been a police officer in Aurora, and he said anyone that had ever done wrestling, we hate arresting them, because especially if they're drunk at a bar or something like that, and they're on autopilot, if they don't want to go down, they're never going to go down. Okay. You're not going to get them. Wrestling holds a special place in my heart. Wrestling is probably one of the best combat sport bases you can have. It has footwork, it has strength, it has explosiveness, it has the mindset, grind for it. You can do a little bit of wrestling and get very, very far.
So would it make a difference between like the wrestler weighing 250 or like 230, but with like just 1 year of wrestling experience versus someone like a BBJ fighter that's either purple belt, brown belt, or black belt, but they're like 145 or 150?
It could go either way. Anytime you're dealing with size differences, there's a reason in combat sports there's weight classes. When people are like, oh, you can manipulate somebody bigger than you. That's a lie, because the people that do it professionally do it going by weight. And it depends on the rule set. For wrestling, yeah, a jiu-jitsu person probably is going to get pinned real quick, not know what to do. If it's jiu-jitsu rule set, they're probably going to be able to scramble around them, climb them like a spider. The wrestler doesn't want to turn their back, so they're going to go behind them and be able to choke them out. That's fine. Anytime we compete in one rule set, the person that comes from that rule set will probably win in there.
Yeah, because it's their favorite, just like when they had the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor.
But there's also, if the wrestling person has one coach in their corner, or what I would tell them to do, like, yeah, grab him, gable grip, and don't let go. They will never. Yeah, gable grip is a particular wrestling grip named after a very famous American wrestler named Dan Gable. Palm to palm, grabbing here, so if you can cycle around somebody's body part, a leg, both legs, body, you can get this big hole here and cinch it tighter and tighter and tighter, and it's using all of your biceps, all of your traps, all of your lats to be able to just suck somebody to you. They're never getting out. Khabib, if we think of Khabib in MMA,
he's strong.
The second he ever gets his hands touching, okay, that's the round.
Or like Chimaev.
Yes, Chimaev as well. The second he gets his hands attached, they're never coming done. They're never coming undone, and he's just gonna ragdoll you like a sack of rice.
And then, like, what's the difference between Sambo and Greco-Roman?
So Sambo is a Russian combat sport.
Wrestling, and it's not just wrestling, right?
Correct. Sambo is a Russian combat sport designed supposedly for military use, for unarmed military use. So they have wrestling shoes, like MMA shorts, and then a jiu-jitsu top called a kurtka. There's two forms of it. Sports sambo is with no striking, so you can judo toss people using the kurtka. You can also submit them. If you throw somebody down, you've got 20 seconds to get something.
Oh,
you have 20 seconds to get an armbar. You have 20 seconds to get a choke. You have 20 seconds to get a knee bar.
If they don't, they stand it back up, or?
Yep, and then the ref resets, similar to wrestling when there's too much timidity, similar to even MMA, even though the referees are very reticent at standing people up. Judo and sambo, you've got 20 seconds to work. That's why when we see judo practitioners and sambo people, when they go, once it hits the mat, they're on it really quickly.
Like the girl that fought Holly Holm, Kayla Harrison.
Yep, Kayla was an American Olympian, one of the most decorated American combat sports Olympians of all time so far. And she throws you like a truck.
Just like she goes fast.
Yeah,
and it was quick.
Comes in like a chainsaw. So back to sambo, then we also have combat sambo, which also allows strikes, so they can kick, knee, I'm not positive on elbows, punching,
like
as well as headbutts.
Like kickboxing, but without the...
Yes, so it is much more free-form. It's very, very close to MMA, just with the jackets.
Just with the headbutt, too, and the headbutt.
Yes, they have headbutts. They're not
Do they do it
super
more
common.
often, or... Oh, they don't do it a lot.
Yeah, it's like elbows in Muay Thai. It's rarer. You'll see more punches, you'll see more kicks than headbutts or elbows. They're just more rare. Sambo is an excellent base for MMA because it's basically MMA.
It's basically MMA.
And they have wrestling footwork. The wrestling heavy countries like Ukraine, like Russia, but they're not allowed to compete in the Olympics right now.
Oh, why?
They figured out ways to blood dope without it being traced.
Yes.
So they were able to beat some of the Olympic things, and they're currently not allowed to compete as a nation.
They were
in the
also
Olympics.
talking about like how they're trying to check some of the current UFC fighters, but a lot of them are saying that they don't want to get checked, like for blood tests like that go way back.
Yeah, a lot of those are hair follicle tests, and sometimes athletes might fall out of a pool if they semi-retire or stuff like that. But in that same region that does sambo, you've got Ukraine, which has very, very strong athletics. And the wrestling is awesome. Kazakhstan, we've got Shavkat as well. A lot of the former Soviet states. Iran, Turkey, Georgia. Those are all places from a similar... Chechnya is like a state in Russia.
Oh.
It's not an individual country. It's just north of Dagestan, where the Nurmagomedovs are from. But that whole region has very strong wrestling. All of those countries perform very well in wrestling, and also a lot of them in boxing and other forms too, because those countries have very strong athletic programs for schools. They start growing it. My
last question before we close off.
Yes, sir.
We know the fight with just Terence Crawford and what's his name just happened. What do you think about Ilia Topuria calling out either Canelo or Terence Crawford?
Those gentlemen, they're in different tax brackets, man.
That would be good. Because even Crawford said it himself. He was like, he's like, Ilia Topuria is not like the same level as Conor McGregor was.
Yeah. So a good puncher in MMA does not necessarily make a good boxer. Punching is part of boxing. Yes. It is not the entirety of boxing. MMA. You can get away with good punching in MMA. You can even be the best boxer in the UFC. That does not correlate to being on par with the best boxer in the world. All they've done is boxing. Yeah. Crawford is 41-0 in the squared circle. Topuria does not. He has very good boxing. He has very good hands. He's also calling out
He's calling out big names.
That's a smallmouth bass calling out a great white, man. I wouldn't. I don't think it'll go anywhere. I think it generates publicity and headlines. Anytime athletes from different sports call each other out.
Do a boxing fight, I'd rather want to see him do it against like Ryan Garcia or Teofimo Lopez. Like those guys, I think would be like with his.
You think smaller guys or smaller names?
Like
or just stylistically?
They're not smaller names, but I think just those styles suit him better because Canelo and Terence Crawford are big names.
Yeah.
And I think...
And on top of that, even defensively, they would outsmart him. It would look like a seminar with a kid swinging on a world champion, and they would just sled and roll.
Because, like, for me, it would be better him fighting, like, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. Like, the guys that have wins, like, great wins, but not as good as, like, the Mayweathers. Or, like, but they're getting there. I don't even think he could do good against Shakur Stevenson.
Anyone calling out someone on their own turf never goes well. It's their home turf for a reason. If we want to see Ilia Topuria versus Terence Crawford, I don't know, playing Halo, shooting pool, playing basketball. Get something where it's a neutral ground, and then we could see them.
Where they both haven't done it.
Where they're both bad at it, and we get to point and laugh at them. That'd be cool. Do cornhole. Jorge Masvidal did a match against the U.S. cornhole champion and got creamed. But that's more fun than getting,
And I bet he enjoyed himself.
Yeah. Haven't played darts.
Well, thanks, Collins, for always having us and always being cool. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for always having us. Next week, we're going to be talking about fights that are coming up and predicting them. So always thank you for having us and being patient with us. Always like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Cheers.